And here we are. Aha, we are now live. Well, hello everybody and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology and my special guest that I have today doing a collaboration, doing a live with me, almost needs no introduction. It is Linda G, who, thank you, brilliant. Thank you so much for joining the show. I'm a big fan of your show. I've been watching you for a long time and you've been, you really are an inspiration to a lot of people.
And of course, I got a reading from you, by the way. You're very good.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, this was a little while ago now, wasn't it?
It was a while ago.
Yeah, can you imagine? I've done hundreds of consultations since then, and I've just learned some really mind-bending stuff with the astrology. So as usual, sort of like with my shows, I like to prepare a few questions in advance. But today, this evening, we're going to keep it a bit looser, a bit more freestyle. I've got some broad themes. I understand, Linda, you may have some questions for me. So feel free, anything to do with astrology that you want to ask.
Yes, I love that.
Brilliant. And I've got, of course, my tarot cards, as always. I'm sure you've probably got your tarots, but of course, you've got your guides as well. Ah, perfect. And then basically we will get stuck in. So I think one of the main themes before I do some shout outs to everyone, which I think would be very interesting and maybe something you've noticed yourself, Linda. Have you noticed the energies around sort of like the far right and shadow and just things kind of like coming up? What's your take and your perspective, and what intuitive hits do you get about that?
Well, I was sort of warned about the crazy coming in, but it's really sad that other human beings can be so ugly.
Mm.
It's absolutely ugly.
Yeah. I mean, we're really seeing some stuff.
They think anybody who doesn't think like them is a pedophile.
Oh. This stuff.
Get off the pedophile. I had a good friend in Missouri. I loved her and her husband, and they ran the prison out there for ghost things. We got along fabulous. And then one day she says to me, she believed it. You know about Hillary, right? And the Pizzagate. She eats babies.
Oh my God.
So it's like, oh my God.
Wow.
Oh my God.
It's extraordinary. Now you can imagine from us Brits, we look at America and we're like, wow,
Are you guys just as shocked? Do you have some people like that in the UK?
Not to that extreme. Not to that extreme. I mean, like we do have, like, for example, with our politics, because the Brits, we love our humor, and I don't need to tell you about that, former stand-up comedian. So we have some people, like there's this party in the UK that stand for various things. They never win, but they're called the Monster Raving Loony Party. That's what they're called. And the Monster Raving Loony Party is like a dilute version of Trump.
Oh, okay.
If we even know what they stand for. So basically they're a joke party, and and they never get voted in. So we do, of course, look, Trump is an archetype. We know that, but it rarely gets to that extreme. But I would say, Boris Johnson with his energies and, his, saucy little scandals and this, that, and the other. But,
He's not as bad as Trump, though. He's not as bad.
No. Duck L'Orange just takes it to a whole nother level.
I like Parliament, the way they sass each other and tell each other off. Why can't we do that?
Yeah.
Have parliaments like that.
You know what? I think for the USA, it would actually be very good, actually, because what it does is it lances a lot of boils, and because did you see Joe Manchin? He was talking today. I think it was on MSNBC, and he was making a reference to Don Jr. And yeah, he was making a reference to Don Jr. I know. I was thinking I must speak with Linda about this. And he was basically throwing Don Jr. under the bus because he was talking with a Russian lawyer in 2016. Now, I think this was quite well known. So, yeah, you've got to see it on MSNBC.
I have to watch it.
I saw Joe Manchin waxing lyrical about we need to have standards in politics, and whatever we do as private companies or whatever is not the same as public life and blah, blah, blah. You got to see it.
He's a little weasel himself.
Absolutely.
He took money from Russia.
They all did, yeah. So many of them did. So I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? But would you mind if I just do a few quick shout outs? And thank you everyone for joining us so far. So we've got Run Unconditional Love Tarot. We have got Pam C Cakes. Is that how you would say it? Pam Cakes, because it's C8KS. I think it's a bit of an American style spelling. We've got someone here called Ron who said that that you were on his channel a couple of times. So he's just there.
Ron Unconditional.
Yeah, Ron Unconditional.
He's a dog. He's a dog.
That's sweet. We got Joanne B. We got Barbara Craze. Who else do we have? Fran B. Earth Mama. Cheryl Anderson Long, who actually suggested that I actually contact you and have a little collaboration, and it all just happened. All right, Linda, let's get stuck in. Let's kind of blend our skills.
Figure out the thing that's going to help this universe. Let's figure it out today.
Right.
Let's energetically catapult into the higher realms and bring back that love energy and make the world a better place to live.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. So what I'll do is I'm going to pull some tarot. So like we could start. How about in terms of if we discuss maybe some of the topics that have been unfolding, and then when we're through, maybe towards the end, we then ask the universe how to remedy, just like what you said, almost as a kind of like to dovetail the show. And one of the things I want to share, which I've just actually seen on the news, there have been riots that have erupted in the south of Sweden. Apparently several cities in the south of Sweden.
Not on the news out here.
Yeah, and it's several riots have emerged because a far-right person called Rasmus Paludan, who is the leader of a Danish far-right group, which is called Stram Kurs, which means hardline party. Yeah. All of these riots have kind of broken out because they burn a few Quran books. Yeah. Burnt a few Quran books and stuff like that. And I was thinking after we answer this question, and then we can maybe look at the French elections as well, of course, which would be a natural progression. So I'm going to pull some cards. Feel free to pull some cards if you wish to as well. But along with anything you get from your guides.
Okay.
And I'm thinking the question we should ask is, essentially, is Europe moving to the right? Okay. There's Europe.
Look what's going on in France.
Yeah.
Pepe Le Pen.
That's a good one.
Oh, she's not going to win, by the way.
Well, we shall see. I'll give you some because as you may or may not know, but I actually the planets sometimes come through to me with messages as well, and they spoke about the French elections as well, and it's very close. They said to me it's very close.
Yeah, it's going to be close, but it's not her.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to pull some cards. So, is Europe moving to the right, sort of like overall? Is Europe moving to the right? Let's have a look. I'm just pulling some cards. Just move my camera down. I'm going to pull 5 cards. And as you're my guest, you get to go first. If you want.
Well, you know, it's not, it's more like they don't want to share. It's more like stop giving to everybody else and just handle us. You know, even the United States is like open doors, open, you know, they're tired of everybody else getting a piece of the action or giving sympathy to someone because they're from someplace else. There's no mercy here. There's no mercy here. And that's the law of the world, is mercy. So I would say it's working hard to try to do that. We're working hard to try to do that.
What was that? That was the sword of, that was the Page of Swords and Three of Pentacles.
It's people trying to marry into this, but look at the outcome is the Ace of Cups. There's going to be a lot of things happening, and I've said this before on my show. There's going to be natural disasters that we're all going to try to help everybody kind of pull back in together. This whole thing in the Ukraine is getting pretty ugly right now.
Oh yeah.
And it's really ugly. And I feel like, you know, we'll be close to nukes if we don't do nukes, but I'm not feeling the end of the world. I'm just saying that Putin has to go.
It really does. I'll give you a little insight, Linda. So I had this, so I did a YouTube, I think it was last week, and at 4:30 a.m., this is often when they come to me, and basically they just come through with messages. And it was Mars and it was Pluto, which are both quite hardcore energies. So you can imagine Mars is the planet of war, energy, but he's also youth. He deals with doctors, nurses, surgery, things like that, sport, passion. But he does deal with war and explosions and stuff like that. And then you've got Pluto, which is a very intense energy. Pluto can represent some of the darkest of what human beings can do. And it's all of this dredging up, but he also represents transformation. Anyway, they came through, talk about French election. And when it came to Putin, literally Pluto was just like basically the message that they gave me, they were like, he is beyond, like, beyond dark, even like no light. And they showed me the galactic center, which is like, because we have a black hole at the middle of our Milky Way, and they said he's like that. So it's not like, you know, like how in meditation there can be the void, where you become empty so the message can come in. So not all voids are bad. They said no, it's like a black hole. It's this crushing darkness that he has, which is about annihilation. He's just gone beyond, really beyond.
He's out to, you know, I don't know why he's so pompous, but he thinks we're not going to do anything. And he normally gets away with everything. But I see us turning on him like flies to you know what. I see everybody turning on him. And he already pushed Sweden and Finland, is it, into NATO?
Yeah.
Done deal.
Absolutely. I think it's only a matter of time. And with the cards that I've got in terms of with this question on the backdrop of, is Europe turning to the right? My cards are quite interesting here. So the first card I've got here is the Sun. And I'm using, for anyone that is curious, I'm using my Bianco Nero deck made by an Italian artist. What's he called? He's called Marco Proieto. Anyway, so we got the Sun. So we know that the Sun is about what? Illumination, enlightenment, and stuff like that. So in many ways, we can argue this is part of how Europe sees itself, doesn't it? As an enlightening force, a cultural force, being there to show people, well, not people, but as a source of inspiration as well, civilization, very so. However, look at my obstacle card, Linda. I get the Devil.
Yeah.
And this, for me, in many ways, is this rising of that far right, you know, that kind of deep, dark, Plutonic energy. Because Pluto, now, as you know, I'm a neo-Vedic astrologer. So for us, we follow the movement of the stars, and the stars move backwards. So they've moved backwards by 24 degrees. I won't bore everyone with the detail, but, you know, we just read from a different place. So Pluto went into sidereal Capricorn, according to Vedic astrology, on the 1st of January 2021. And back then in my previous video, I said, hold on, everybody. I said some cray is going to happen. Trump is going to do anything that he can. This was literally back in like November 2020. I made this prediction. And I said, when Pluto moves into sidereal Capricorn, some explosive events could happen. And I said that it's conjunct this star, which is called the flying gripe, which is an eagle. But it's in the tail end, which is the poopy end. Yeah. I said it's in the poopy end. What happened 5 days later? And they literally did do that, didn't they? So for me, in a way, because of this Pluto rising, it's almost like the shadow in everyone is rising up at the same time. And I think you're absolutely right, Linda, where you're talking about people feeling disaffected, not feeling like they're getting enough attention, which I feel is a big thing in France. And, you know, that's affecting things. People don't like the options on the table. 4 of Cups. Yeah. We've got globalization. People's wages haven't really been growing. You know, there's a lot of things that people are upset with. People want justice or a sense of fairness of justice. I mean, this could mean, hopefully it could mean a just outcome potentially, but people want a sense of justice. However, I think they're taking matters into their own hands because look, this is the 7 of Swords, which is what? Trying to get away with something.
Yeah, that's coming off the battlefield and grabbing your lot on your way out.
Absolutely. So for me, in some ways, this is also describing not only how people feel, but I think this is also showing how the far right are doing their politics, you know, because they are trying to be like, we have the answers, you know, we have the light, but really it's that darker energy that's there. It's a manipulation because they don't like their options because they know people are rising up. And then they're trying to make things look like they're just and fair. And we're going to bring this stuff when really they're trying to get away with something. 7 of Swords. So that's how I take it. Anything else you'd like to add to that, Linda?
In the United States right now, they've determined they don't even want debates, presidential debates. Yes.
Really?
Yes. The Republican Party said there will be no presidential debates.
What?
I tell you, that's because they think Dummy's coming up there again and he fails miserably in debates. That's because we might ask them an educated question. We might want to have answers. But guess what? That works on the side of independents or Democrats because people like to know where do you stand on the issues. If you're not even going to discuss it, like Mitch McConnell told the news, they said, well, what are you going to be doing if you get in again? As the, you know, the head honcho. Mm-hmm. What do you got on the table? We'll see. If I win, I'll let you know.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
That arrogance.
Oh, but see, they got these poor people that drink the Kool-Aid.
Oh.
And educated people, good people out there is like, you know, no, we need to know the issues. We want to know where you stand. 80% of America believes in Roe versus Wade. And look at the cray things they're doing.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, isn't it? It's like, for me, when I think of Duck L'Orange, as you know, that's my nickname. That's my nickname for 45. It's like he's opened a Pandora's box. I think what he's done, and I don't want people to think that I'm praising him or whatever, because we know what Trump is. We know what Trump is. But I would say if there is one favor, indirect favor that he's done, is that he's just revealed who everyone is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's revealed everyone is. We know what he is. Everyone knows what he is. And he doesn't even try and pretend to be anything else.
Right.
One of the things I often say, not always on camera, but off camera, but I've said to many clients, I said, you know what? In Donald Trump's constant lying, he's always telling the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's so true.
In his constant lie, he's always telling the truth because he's like, this is who I am.
And everybody tells him so. Everybody's telling him.
Exactly. So it will be very interesting, but it's almost more like the legacy now that he's spawned. He's like, He's like one of those serpents from mythology. You know, once the head is cut off and then it just reproduces itself. And by the way, we're up to 936 in the house with Hoagie and Linda G. Thank you so much, everyone.
Guys, I did a live yesterday, and it's just amazing how many people came on.
I know, it's amazing, especially for like Easter as well. You think people be busy. I think I saw your show last night, and you were like, "Wow,
3,000 people."
Oh my god! Well, that's what happens when you got 50,000 followers. But you know,
here's your hope: is look at these people. Look at the people that follow us. Look at the beauty, and they know. You know, and I find myself even criticizing, you know, basically white men. But my father was a white man. But, you know, women only got the vote for the past 100 years. And they're over there, no Roe versus Wade. But guess what? 80% of the United States is for it. But it's not white men. It's that whole Southern Confederate energy. They lost, for Christ's sakes. And they still carry around that flag like, oh, and Hitler lost too, by the way.
Yeah.
And you saw how he got thousands and thousands of people to even deny that they had crucified Jews. But the good news is now Germany, they insist they teach that in school, let the kids know. What is it called that Ron DeSantis doesn't want? Woke. He doesn't want people woke. He doesn't want to talk about slavery or anything like that. Why are you going to make people feel bad? Well, I think it's good for us to know where we came from. Listen, I was listening to a book about my tribe, the Comanche.
Yeah, because you're Comanche. You have Native American Indian blood, so this is even more pertinent for you.
It was a hard pill to swallow because, first of all, I do understand the natives were furious at these lies. They said, "Oh, here we'll give you this," and then they take it away. We'll put your children in schools and cut their hair and don't let them speak the language. But the Comanches, whoo, especially Quan and Parker, listen, we were just as ugly as those Russians.
Wow.
We were just as ugly. We did some scalping and some killing of women and children.
Wow.
I'm very surprised, but they did. But it's good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know what exactly we came. That's how angry, because I know my mom was cray-cray when she was mad. She used to sit there and she pushed the plate. Me and my mom and sister did the cooking. She used to push the plate away and say, "I'm not going to eat this white man's food."
Wow.
She was drinking the fire water, if you know. She was a good drinker. And and we were like, but we're hungry.
Oh, bless. And thank you, Catherine Duter, for your donation. And who else? Sunny Intuition, thank you for your donation as well. All right, Linda, let's dive in to this French election. Just as we got over 1,000 people have just joined us. Now, why? I'm just to give like a little context. People are probably wondering, why are so many readers talking about the French election? Yeah, because we know about France and stuff like that, but it's not very often covered by us YouTubers, is it?
No.
But one of the reasons why it's so important, and one of the visions that I was actually given as well, Linda, when Mars and Pluto are coming through, they were showing me Europe, and they said basically if Le Pen won, they were showing me, it was very graphic. It was like someone's foot being severed. Yeah. And I was like, what is this? And especially I found it quite challenging because I recently sprained my ankle and stuff like that. But I realized it wasn't my leg. It looked like a European leg. But that's what they were showing. I know that's a very graphic image, but they were saying if Le Pen wins, they're showing that's the kind of energy that would ripple through Europe, because of course it would technically mean, of course, that a far right, thing got in.
She talks to Putin every day. Putin is dying for her to win.
Wow.
And let me tell you something else. She's promised, she does like Trump. Oh, I'm going to have the best health care ever. I'm going to hire the best people ever. I'm going to do this. She's not going to do any of that.
Let's see. Let's have a chop. Let's pull some cards and see what we get. I'm trying to think, how shall we formulate the question so we maybe see what Le Pen's motives are? Because Macron is the incumbent, so we sort of know him, don't we? So
Right.
shall we just read what's the energies around Le Pen? How about that?
Let's see if it even says, does she win? I see she doesn't win, but let's ask again.
Yeah. Let's
Well,
see.
Pepe Le Pew win.
She does stand a good chance, though, Linda. I'm just giving you that.
Okay.
You know, when the planets tuned in, they said it's going to be close. They said it could be close.
I can tell you too. Trump isn't even going to run.
Oh yeah, Duck Larange. He is just something else. That guy, something else. And we see that his fates are turning. But when I look at his chart from the Vedic perspective,
yeah,
the shoe really starts dropping for him in 2023. So it's going to just incrementally get more and more intense. And then 2023 is going to be like going off a cliff. I mean, he could even transition, something like that.
Right. And that's funny you say that because you know my friend Andre from
Oh, yes. Yeah, love Andre.
He said right at this time, remember, he always got off on, you kept thinking, when is this guy going to pay for all these lives? And he saw some transition, not in Vedic, but something was going to happen where all of a sudden he doesn't get away with it.
Yeah, because what is like Trump, just so you know, from like Vedic astrology, Trump actually has quite a lucky chart. I know no one wants to hear this, but we've just seen it, haven't we? He's gone through his whole life. And what it is, he's got, I think, the sun in his chart, because Trump in Vedic astrology is not a Gemini sun sign. He's a Taurus. Yeah. And the shadow of Taurus is known for what? Materialism, stuff like that. And his sun in particular, I think it's in Rohini. This is these star clusters. But anyway, his sun is conjunct a star called Regulus. No, not Regulus, pardon me. Aldebaran. And it is a very lucky royal star. And his ascendant, his rising sign, is Leo in Vedic astrology, and he's got Mars in the ascendant, and it's conjunct a star called Regulus, which is about leadership, kinship, winning a throne. And the nakshatra it's in is actually called Magha. And if you take the H away, what do you get? Maga.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah. So there you are. I thought I'd show you that. So what do you get? What do you have for Le Pen?
Well, let me ask you first. Let's have you first.
Sure. All right. So this is what it's very nice actually to swap it around. So for Le Pen, this is what I have here. I have got it is the 9 of Pentacles. So in a way, this kind of perfectly sums up Marie Le Pen. Marie Le Pen is her father was called Jean Le Pen. Was very involved in French politics. Has been very. Been very much a far right person.
Okay.
And let's see, we've got Diva 369. Thank you so much for your donation. And so, but if we think here, what's the 9 of Cups? It is about the woman who has everything that she needs, or the person that has everything that they need. They're independently wealthy. They are self-assured. They are confident. And you can see here the pentacles in the background. But this card is also sometimes known as the courtesan as well. And part of the shadow of this card can be almost selling oneself as well to the highest bidder.
Yes. I think she's selling herself to Russia.
Absolutely. So there is certainly, I mean, and this is just, apparently they've had to pay some money back, but the connections between Le Pen and Putin are indisputable. It's there. It's been there. And isn't it interesting? Because look at the next card that comes out. The Lovers. So when we look at this, a lady of means, she's from a wealthy family and background, of course.
Yeah.
But here, the shadow, like I said, of the 9 of Pentacles can be the courtesan. And look what we get as the Lovers. So this represents what? Bonds, relationships, deals with others. This could be very much that Putinshka effect, I would say. And then the next card we get here is, what's this? It's the Two of Wands. And this is about prospecting. This is about looking out to the world. This is about making plans, particularly international plans, because here you see the globe is in his hands.
Yeah.
So when we look in the context of the lover, potentially being Putin, yes, that would be someone international, wouldn't it? Here she is. She's waiting for her harvest, the Seven of Pentacles. So is it the case that her collaboration with Putin will finally pay off? Could it be that? Because the Seven of Pentacles is very much, you know, waiting for a harvest. You can see this is someone who's put in effort. These grapes haven't grown overnight. But then we look here, the outcome card is moving to smoother waters. So does it mean that she just loses and then she shuffles off the scene? Or does it mean that she's going to start taking France in a different direction? So I think my cards for her overall, it's showing that connection, but it's not saying necessarily if she wins or loses. What do you have?
Well, I did 3 on her and 3 on Macron.
Ooh.
So she is in, this is for me, Mother Russia.
Me too.
She is having an affair with Mother Russia.
Mm.
They are toasting cups and they think they got this. But does she win or lose? She gets the 5 of Pentacles.
Right.
Once again in the poverty section. Once again having to walk away. Macron, now I think you're right. It's going to be close because his fortune's fate. So, you know, he's really praying this doesn't work out. And he looks sick with despair. But the wait is coming. I guess pretty soon this is going to happen. The wait is over. And he's got the 9 of Cups.
Ah, right.
So, according to my cards, it looks like Macron's going to win.
It certainly does.
I'll tell you what, I fear she wins because I think she'd take them out of hi Ron. She would take them out of NATO immediately.
Yeah, she probably would. Isn't it interesting? Because I think that my cards were describing, I think, that relationship with Putin, wasn't it? That power dynamic. We saw the courtesan, we saw the lovers and stuff. And then the 3 cards you pulled as well. But we have the 2 of Cups, which is just like the lovers as well, which is about deals, partnership, being echoed.
Power. She wants that power.
She wants that power.
Have an honest to God vision of changing the whole thing. And she'll let Putin whisper in her ear. So she's prostituting herself, but not in a way, you know, it's not about the money as much as about.
Because she's already rich, as the 9 of Pentacles, would show. I'm just going to pull 3 for Macron as well, just like you did. Look, I've turned my cards upside down accidentally. So what did I get here? So, now this is interesting. Look at this. So for Macron, so I thought I'd join you with 3 cards. I get the Ace of Cups, which of course is all about emotion, overflowing. It can also mean feeling cordial and optimistic and, relationships. But we know he's feeling what? Tense. So I think he's feeling very nervous about this election. Here, 2 of Pentacles, he is frantically trying to juggle everything. So I think you're absolutely right. He is working hard with his teams. But look at the card that I get. I get the 7 of Cups.
Wow.
So what it could be is that on one level, it can mean illusions and delusions and stuff like that. But you know how I sort of interpret this? Because the middle card is juggling things, I think this is him wanting to think outside of the box. Do something different that he's not done before, which some people may think might be a bit irrational, but I think he's going to have to do something very different to win, because it's close.
Yeah, you're right. It's real close. It's where fortune's fate, just like they said. You know, I mean, if she wins, it's going to, and let me tell you something. When you were saying she may win, energetically, I repulsed that idea, but also I allowed it to come through. And I felt like she could cause such chaos that they end up getting her out of there just as fast as she got in.
Wow. Could be. It's very interesting that you say that, because when I did a pull on this a few weeks ago, the Justice card came up, and the intuitive hit that I was getting is that it could be that the election gets so close, or it's within certain margins of errors, that a judge may have to decide. There could be that.
Does that happen in France?
Yeah, that can happen in France. Yeah, that can happen if it's very, very close, because you can imagine if you're in that window of 2 to 3%, then you're in that margin of error, and then there's often a recount and stuff. But if it's too close to call, it could be maybe there's some kind of judgment or what have you. Yeah. So very interesting. So we've got 1,270 people with us now. My goodness, star power. So how about, so we spoke a little bit about Duck Larange. Would you like to talk a little bit more about Trump, or would you like to talk about the Jan 6th committee and where they're going and what's that about? Yeah,
let's do that. I'm so glad Larange. He just, I know he's a nobody. They just showed on the news Roger Stone going to a party at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
And Trump turned around and said, "Oh, Roger, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you. You know, I would have come over to say hi to my buddy," and he hugs him. And then Roger Stone says to him, "So what the hell are you going to do about that doggone, GD, Ron DeSantis?" And Trump backed away from him.
Oh.
Because he knew the cameras were on them.
Wow. Because you know that Ron DeSantis,
he cried.
Yeah, absolutely, there is. And I've always been wondering what Duck Larange, what Trumpy Trump will do in regards to him, because we all know, look, Trump is a showman. He is a showman. Yeah. We know what it is. And, and there have been times, even when I've not wanted to, I've had to burst out laughing at some of the things that he said. Do you know what I mean? Because they're so outrageous. Because that's what he is. He is.
You could put bleach. I understand you could put bleach, or a light, that Dr. Bricks or whatever her name was.
Do you remember some bleach, some disinfectant? My jaw was on the floor. And did you see the doctors that were sitting there, and they would just bolt upright as if to say, like, "Oh my God." He has come out with some stuff, and you're just like, wow. But he's a maverick. When you look at his chart, he's a maverick. He's an entertainer. He's a reality TV show.
You gotta say, "Oh, master."
Absolutely. His ego is absolutely massive.
That's what's going on with Putin. He's furious at Zelensky being so adored. He hates that. But
absolutely.
What's his name? Roger Stone said, "Oh, you know what, Ron DeSantis, we know about you. And, you better look out, because we know some business about you." And, him and Matt Gaetz were sort of linked in some of that underage stuff.
Mm-hmm. I can well believe, because the thing is, as you know, Linda, you read on these energies, and you have your guides, and of course, I think you, if I remember correctly, you started your channel as a response to the Trump thing, and your guide said, "Look, you'll be here to calm people down." Or remember,
they said you will help calm people down. That's exactly what they said.
And it's been so interesting, though, isn't it? Because I think part of Trump's success, in a way, even though he's a failure, we all know he's a failure, but part of his success in the sense of getting people on his side, he is, because I've looked at his chart, he is so good at sniffing out dirt.
Oh, yes.
That's his talent. He can look at someone and he can figure out what their weak spots are. Do you know what I mean? Like, whenever I tune with him, the energy, the image they show me is a Komodo dragon, that serpent that can taste the air, and he can just smell when anyone that he can manipulate. And that's sort of like his gift in a way. It's this dark gift. And when you look in his chart, his moon is messed up. It's one of the worst moons ever, but it's in this specific place in Scorpio, sidereal Scorpio, going into Sagittarius, which is called Ophiuchus. Did you know there is, did you know there is a 13th sign of the zodiac?
No.
Yeah. So there's a 13th sign of the zodiac, and it goes from Scorpio, in between Scorpio and Sagittarius. And it's about, I think it's about 10 degrees. And his moon is right there. And Ophiuchus means the serpent king, the serpent priest or serpent priestess. So it's actually associated a lot with cult leaders.
Oh, that I believe it. I believe it.
What he is?
One thing I'll give him a compliment about, one thing. He told the North Korean Kim Jong-un, okay, Rocket Man, go for it, because we're going to blow you out of the water. And everybody was like, oh, he's going to create a world war. He said, come on, Rocket Man. We got a military going to kick your butt. And then what did Rocket Man do? He turned around and kissed his butt.
and Duck Laurent just kept the letter.
Oh,
you know, it's just extraordinary, isn't it? It's how do you feel, Linda? Because obviously I'm a Brit from the outside looking in. Although my grandfather was American, though, by the way, and I've been to the States a lot, and I do love America. But for you, how has America changed for you? What have you noticed?
Oh, it hasn't. Because I've been raised. I'll be 69 this year. I'll be 70 next year.
No way! Oh my, very youthful.
You know my birthday. You did my reading.
It's true, but you know what? I forget everyone's birthday. For me, it's just a gateway into the chart. But you know, you've got that Comanche blood after all, so right. You know.
So okay, so what I will say is that men have desperately tried not to let women have any empowerment. I was raised in the days that a woman couldn't even have a credit card. When I started high school, we were just able to wear slacks. Men always could wear what they wanted. We could, you know, it was always, we've always been identified as what we do for a man. And ugly has always been there. Between John F. Kennedy dying, Martin Luther King, Robert F. Kennedy, blood, gore, Vietnam War, watching dead men. I used to work for the Red Cross and go up to Oak Knoll Hospital with all those young guys. I was very young myself with blown arms and stuff. And the ugly in politics has been extremely, politics is starting to shake up. But back in my day, I mean, I believe it's true that, what's his name? Lyndon B. Johnson was part of the assassination of of John F. Kennedy.
Wow.
Spoke by his girlfriend and talked about all the people in and out and stuff. And other people have said this to me, inside people, that he was part of it because, you know, Kennedy was thinking about not using him as vice president.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this ugly back room, men only running the show has been going on, and it just gets uglier and uglier.
Wow.
What's it? Jimmy Carter was laughed out, you know, because he tried to be, he probably wasn't the best president, but he tried. And Clinton, you know, he liked to mess with the girls, but so what? Oh, but they were going to impeach him and make a big deal. Let me tell you, if the Republicans win the House, they will try to impeach Biden.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Yeah, they would. They would.
How has it changed? America isn't America the Great. I've seen what they've done. I've seen what they've done to the tribes. 60 Minutes had a thing years ago. A federal judge ruled that my tribe and others were supposed to get all this money from America for breaking all these contracts. But gee golly, the federal government could not find the paperwork because they showed the BIA they had been water damaged. They had not taken care of any of the paperwork. And the judge just told the tribe chiefs, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do. These assholes just didn't do the right thing.
Wow.
And slavery, hello. Although slavery is everywhere, but we're not even supposed to talk about it right now. You don't want people being woke.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. And just to go back on something that you were talking about with Kennedy. So for my membership, oh, Linda, let me just remember, allow me a little plug, forgive me. So for anyone who is a Linda G subscriber or happens to be watching this video, I'm doing a little offer, which is called Linda 20. As a thank you for Linda turning up on the show. And that will get you 20% off all of my consultations until Thursday. Yeah. Thursday, the 21st of April, because I'm going on holiday tomorrow, by the way. I'm flying out tomorrow. So the details for my website, which is thearchetypalblueprint.com, it's all in the description, guys. So you can find links and stuff there. But just as a thank you, Linda, for popping on, really appreciate that. I thought I'd just give your subscribers or anyone watching the video a bit of a discount on my consultations if they'd be interested in squeezing the juice out of the orange, but in a different way. But just to finish that little point that I started, as part of my membership, I do like these deep dive specials from time to time. And guess what? I did one on JFK.
Yes.
And Linda, his chart was extraordinary. And I looked at it both ways. I looked at his main chart and the transits that happened when he was sadly taken from us, assassinated. And there's something, you have a second half of life chart, which is called the D9. And it's like a further division of your main chart. And it shows your fate and destiny. From both charts, he was fated to be taken out. There was even in there, the vehicles, third house. You know what, Linda? I'll forward you that video. I'll forward that video to you because I think
I will watch it.
I had goosebumps. Even when I was doing the consultation, I had goosebumps. And you know what also emerged is that it was an inside job. So you're right. You and your friends are right. It's there.
It wasn't Russia or Cuba. Nope. It was his own people that took him out.
It was his own. And that's what's even more tragic about it. We're not saying that he was perfect. We know that he was a ladies' man. But he had charisma, he really had something. He really had something.
I think he talked about he didn't think he would live to be old. But he almost died on PT 409 or whatever that ship was. He almost died.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's where he hurt his back so bad. In fact, if he wasn't wearing that brace in the limo, when he got hit through the throat, he would have gone down. But because he was wearing the brace, it kept him up.
Wow. Wow. You see, and this is why I love doing these collaborations and talking with very gifted and talented people like yourself, because you give me these insights that I didn't know that. I could see that he had a few close shaves in his life, but isn't it interesting? When you look at his chart, I'll send you that video. It was just fated. It was just.
I'm going to send you a video that on YouTube I got that's on my community page about the shroud and the scientists. And oh my God, the very last scientist on this video says, I can prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt that this was in fact the shroud of Jesus and he was crucified. And he said, I can prove to you that he rose on the third day. Rigor mortis had set in, as why the knees were up. And something else with the color of the skin, or something with the skin, and his belly started to swell. He said third day. That proves beyond a reasonable doubt that. And when he left, he was going up. He was lifting. He wasn't like flat dead. Wow. He was rising. And when that spontaneous, light, X-ray, whatever they call it, they said it's absolutely fascinating how they can get these 3D portraits of this body. And they said he was brutalized, absolutely brutalized.
Tragic, yeah.
And that's what the Romans did. And here's the other thing. They said they know where the slab was that he was at, because they found on the shroud, they found pieces of this particular thing that they haven't used since the days of Jesus.
What?
To bury a Jewish person.
Goosebumps.
And they said that he, it's almost like beyond a reasonable doubt, because honest, My son told me that Egypt talks about somebody like Jesus before Jesus was. So I thought, is this like are they making this up? No, this particular man died just like Jesus in the time of Jesus. Even with the coins on his eyes were the time of Jesus. He was
Wow.
eyes. They could tell by his head wounds that they took that thing and put him on. They said they didn't make no nice little halo. They literally took a bush and put it on his head. And rigor mortis had set in. They were able to prove his physical body is AB positive. He was 5'11".
Wow.
And
that's my height. I'm not Jesus, but I'm 5'11".
he literally was lifting up when he died. Some other scientists said he might have even been totally upright when he dissipated.
Wow. Well, you know what? You've just reminded me something, and isn't it funny? Part of my adventures and my travels, I'm going to Spain, Portugal, but then I'm going to Sicily, etc. But guess what? My final destination, I'm going to be catching up with friends. I'm going to be going to Turin.
No.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to see the shroud?
Well, now that you've mentioned it, do you reckon I should go and try and take a look?
When you look at the shroud, I've seen the picture. You can't tell nothing. It doesn't. There's really.
It looks like a piece of paper. Yeah.
I'm going to send you this video. That's all you need. It's fascinating the way these scientists have been able to use all this equipment without even disturbing it. They even found biological plants that only existed in Jerusalem.
Wow.
On the shroud.
Wow, I really look forward to watching that video. So I may, if it's open, I don't know if it will be, but I'm going to be there. When will I be in?
Any kind of feeling when you're around it. That's what I would be interested in.
Oh, I'll go and have a look if I can. I'm going to be there. I think it's on Thursday 11th, and then I leave Monday 16th of May. So if I've got time, I'll have a look, and maybe I might even do a little video on it.
We would love that.
It would be fascinating. So look, can you believe the time has been whizzing by? I think we've got enough time for one question because, of course, we keep the show to an hour. So let's talk. You know what? Let's talk about the committee. I want to see what your energies, how you feel about the committee. Let's see what we get. For Barbara, who asked me about Priti Patel, I'll do that on the next one because, as you can see, Linda and I, we've been vibing, and sometimes you just got to go where the energy is. So let's see, what shall we ask about the committee, like a specific question? What's curious in your mind? What do you want to see happen?
Well, they're going to have a made-for-TV special, prime time. They're going to announce. Now, listen. The people that love Trump aren't even going to bother watching it.
True.
So we can't change their minds. But it'll make other people take a look, see.
So how about we can ask, okay, what is the, we could, what will the conclusions be for the Jan 6th committee? What will the conclusions be? And I just want to tell the viewers, by the way, my ring light was broken the other day. I couldn't get it to work properly, and I've literally got 2 ring lights on right now. So look, I'll actually show you here just so you can actually see. But can you see there's 2 ring lights? There's one here because my main one here, which looks like a giant halo, it broke, yeah? But guess what? The second Linda G joined the meeting, it came back on. Honestly, that's some proper juju.
It's a miracle. The power of Christ will prepare you.
All right. So what will the Jan 6th committee conclude? I think that's what I asked, doesn't it? What will the Jan 6th committee conclude? It's been so much fun. The time has just gone in a flash. Can you believe it?
I know.
And one thing as well, what I want to mention to you as well, Linda, about your chart, which it only came back to me later, and I was like, oh, if I ever talk with her again, I must mention that. Right. You've got something in your chart that a lot of psychics have and a lot of astrologers have. I have it as well. And what I refer to it is, I call it a stargate. You have a Stargate in your chart. And what do I mean by that? It's when a person has got planets in each of the psychic houses. So the psychic houses in astrology are houses 4, 8, and 12. And you need a planet in each one. Anyone can be a psychic, but when you've got a planet in each one, it forms a triangle in the chart, which I call a Stargate. And it actually helps a person have that access. And it's literally like from childhood onwards, like, you know, like you've been having supernatural experiences. I've been having supernatural experiences throughout my childhood. But I just wanted to mention that to you, because that was something that I saw in your chart. So you've got a Stargate there. So that's part of your gift and your talents and stuff. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, this is interesting.
Wow.
Ooh, quite juicy cards. So I'll let you finish off, but see what you think about my cards. So here we are. In regards to the Jan 6 committee, I've got the Page of Cups, and the Page of Cups is all about what? Messages. The pages are all about messages, but cups are also about emotions. Now, my nickname for this card is, I call it Stinky Fish. Yeah. So here, this is basically a message that the Jan 6th committee are going to come forward with that I think a lot of people are going to be emotionally triggered by, and many will find unpleasant. Yeah.
Thank you.
If you look here, the card here in the obstacle position, but the second card here, look, it's the Hierophant, which means what? The government rules, regulations, organizations, etc. So we can see already. So we're going to be learning what? Maybe unpleasant messages about what? The Trump administration, because it's coming in the obstacle position. And here coming forward is the Queen of Wands. Now, the Queen of Wands, of course, is a woman of passion who's forthright. She is the one that presides over gatherings and ceremonies and stuff like that. This can often be known as a Nancy Pelosi card, but this can just as easily be, what's her name?
Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney. Yeah, this could also be a Liz Cheney. But look, either way, whoever it is, we're talking about a prominent woman here on this committee who has a lot to say.
With the big breastises.
Yeah, potentially. And then we have the Sun. So look, we have disclosure, full disclosure, illumination, etc. All of that stuff. But look at the outcome, though.
What?
I get the Three of Swords. Now, what this says to me is many people, I think, will feel heartbroken by what they discover, by what happened in the government. We know it's coming, but this could even affect a few of the old Trumpers. I think they could come forward with stuff that could really just do them in. But that's my thing. What do you get?
Well, I start off with the battle that they really fought long and hard. They're not out to, they are forwarding things to Merrick Garland, but they're not out to create charges. They're trying to figure out how not to let this happen again. And they're working on a game plan that really should affect a lot of people.
Yeah, they're working hard.
Satan is right below them. There's a lot of underhanded evil, and there's a lot of big names outside of this that eventually are going to, like Rupert Murdoch. So people like that. About the monies that have come in, there's evil connections, and it will be illuminated. The Sun. You
get the Sun as well.
Yes,
that you're in sync.
It's a cup, so they're handing over the truth. In the house is the Eight of Swords, so maybe we don't get the full picture, or we're close to the full picture.
They might feel a bit restrained in some way.
Strings of wishes. A lot of people will be very happy with this. They'll be very happy. But look at this: input, conversation, trying to figure out a way to make sure that never happens again.
Wow.
Did you ever see Merrick Garland actually filing charges? I do.
Oh, well, surprise, surprise. I've done a video. I've done a video on Merrick Garland. Yeah. This was last year, because I was like, I need to get my shoe in. Yeah. Because particularly, you know, it's you got to get in early with this stuff, and then you see if it comes right. Now, what came across for me for Merrick Garland, he is, of course, a very intelligent man. He's a very capable man. But you know what I saw in his chart?
What?
I saw in his chart that there is a particular time influence that he's in, which is connected with Mercury, which I think is the ruler of his 11th house. But there are a lot of very powerful and influential people putting their thumbs on Merrick Garland hard. There are, like, you remember how you were talking about when you were getting that sense that there were a lot of Trumpers within,
yes,
you know, within the department. So he's dealing with the enemy within, but also the enemy without. But, and I don't want people to freak out too much about this, but I would go as far to say there are people that know things about him, but there is a lot of things that he knows about other people that we would be like, whoa, because I can just see from like the placements in his chart, particularly I think it's Rahu. He's got Rahu in no, I think he's got Pluto in the 8th house, and Rahu, I can't remember, it's in one of the videos. So what I would say for Garland is like this balancing act, because he knows he has to do the right thing, but there are a lot of people who are, shall we say, on that darker side, that
are trying to, if they're not directly dealing with him, they're indirectly dealing with him.
Absolutely.
And you know, a co-worker of his for 25 years said, you can't push that guy into anything. He can be very stubborn, but and he'll take his bloody time.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. So one last shout out here. We've just gone over. We've got Deborah Robinson. Hello. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for the donations. Linda, we should do this again. This was fun.
So much
and it went so quickly. Can you believe that hour is gone? So thank you so much, guys. We'll you know, Linda and I are in touch.
Italy, but you have a great trip.
Thank you, and I'll try and check out the Turin Shroud if I can. If I can get there, then I'll do a little blurb about it. So Linda and I are in touch anyway. So when our diaries are convenient, we'll get back together and have a look. It was great collaborating with you. Thank you so much for joining the channel. We've got over 1,600 people who have joined us today. So yeah, that is that's definitely a record for my channel. So
you usually go. What's your record?
Oh, I mean, I think the highest I've had is 1,300. So to have 1,600, you know, that's quite a lot.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the show. And just stay on for a minute, Linda. I'm going to end the show, but just be on for a minute, and we will see you soon. And the next video, guys, that you will see from me will be, I'll be, of course, in Europe. I'll be doing little videos, and don't forget the Linda 20. Like I said, to get 20% off all of my consultations. Thank you, everyone. Until Thursday.
I'm not reading anymore. I retire at the end of December.
Well, because you're so busy.
I know. I have to stop. Yeah.
Yeah, I could.
I'm really upset, but I had to stop reading.
Yeah, because it does take a lot of it. Actually, you know what, Linda? Maybe when we next collaborate, maybe that's something we can talk about, like the energy side of it and how much it takes out of us guys when we do this work. We love it, but you know, it sometimes, you know what I mean. So I will leave it there. Stay on the line, and we will see you soon. Thanks everyone for joining us. All right.